Hello, good morning, my friends. How are you today? I hope you have enjoyed, watched, and understood our first video lecture in your course Theatre for Communication. Today, we are going to the next part of the same series. As you remember, our first video we discussed some of the key words and some confusions related to those words, origin of the key words related to theatre and drama, and the difference between these words, how people use it, and subcategories of theatre. These were the things that we discussed in this. Now, we are going to the history of ancient classic Greek theatre and drama. You see in the slide a name Dionysus, Dionysus. This is a god Greeks loved very much. He is the god of fertility and wine. Of course, people liked him, and there were celebrations and festivals related to his worship and memory. The followers of this god Dionysus, they often used to dance, especially related to their annual festival, City Dionysus, that was the name of that festival. We will come to that later. And people, as a part of their entertainment, they used to tell stories related to this god. It was in the form of chorus. People assemble there. They have a lot of social gathering and celebrations. And a group of people whom are called chorus, they act a story, they sing a story accompanied by some movements. This was a part of this celebration and people really enjoyed it. Some female audiences or female devotees of Dionysus, they even engage in hunting animals, they tore them into pieces, they eat the raw flesh because the people will be in a frenzy. So, in short, they dance, they sing in choral form, and most of these things are from Greek myth related to gods, goddesses, their fights, etc. This performance was a combination of so many elements, so many elements like festivals. There is religious element, there is ritualistic element. Of course, there is politics, law, athletics, gymnastics. Music also is there, poetry is there, and quite often this type of singing and gathering are related to social gatherings or social life, like funeral celebration or wedding celebration, etc. So altogether, the choral presentation or singing gathering was part of their social life. The participation of the city Dionysia, that is an annual festival in the name of the god Dionysius, was considered to be something very important from the part of the citizens. If someone did not participate there, someone does not participate, such person was not considered to be a gentleman or not a good citizen. So such was the importance they gave. Gradually, they developed a kind of contest. Once this choral singing gradually took the form of theatre or drama, Greeks engaged even in competitions. We will come to that part later. Look at this slide. Here you have two pictures. These are the pictures of city Dionysia, an annual festival in the name of Dionysus. People are gathered there. They enjoy, they sing, they drink. The second picture tell you how developed the theatre of Greece was. It is constructed or done in a hill valley, so it is very convenient for people in a very romantic setting. They could watch the performances. People gather there. Such was the system during ancient Greece. Now, we are going to see how this choral singing or group narration changed into the form of a drama. It was with the name of a person, or it was with the arrival of Thespi, Thespi, who was a priest in the Dionysus temple. In one of the celebrations, he has introduced a new segment in this choral singing that was engaging in a dialogue. So, studies say that Thespi himself went to the stage or went to the performance and he engaged in conversation with these people who are singing and narrating the stories, and people understood it's very interesting that they are not simply singing the stories, there is a live human being, a live character is speaking to them. This was the introduction of the first character in the drama. So, choral singing gradually is moving from a singing ceremony or a dancing ceremony to something, a kind of narration. That is why later actors themselves were called thespians in the name of Thespi. So, remember this word, thespians stand for actors. I told you later there were competitions among the dramatists, playwrights, and Thespi himself was the first person to win the first prize in 534 BC. In the first competition, Thespi was the winner, meaning that the importance the people gave to this type of theatrical performance was so big, so important. Now, you may have a question, what they might have done on these performances, anything about the decorations, props, arrangements. What we understand that during the early days, a properly built stage was not there. The photo which you have seen in the previous slide, that comes from a next century. During this time, there was no theater, it was only gatherings. But still, the actors used mask. They used high heel or high soled boots, maybe to increase the height of the actors. These are some of the basic information that we have. Now let us see, once Thespi introduced a new character, it took slightly the form of a drama. Then what happened? Then we have three major playwrights from Greece and their contributions. Then you will understand in what way they contributed to the development of the drama, and finally what happened. The first person we have to refer is Aeschylus. This name is familiar to you. It is with the arrival of Aeschylus in the performance done by chorus earlier, later, one more character. Aeschylus added the second character. The credit goes to him. And he also was the part of the competition. He got the first prize in 484 BC, that is 5th century. He has written so many dramas. It says that around 80 plays were written by him, but only 7 still survived for the posterity. But one of the best work from Aeschylus, still memorable, still enjoyable, is a trilogy, a sequels of 3 dramas, the name of which was Oresteia. Oresteia was celebrating the achievement of Athens, the greatness of Athens, political rule. Dismissing all chaos of the earlier times, Athens became a very super political power. That story is narrated by Oresteia, written by Aeschylus. So the contribution of Aeschylus is not only written, he has written so many dramas, but he has added a second character. Now we have on the stage, there is a chorus, there is first character, and there is a second character. Then comes we have the contribution of Sophocles. When I say then comes, it doesn't mean that Sophocles came after Aeschylus. No, all these people were contemporaries. You can see from the date. Sophocles had the first victory in this competition in 468 BC. That means they are contemporaries, it's the same. His contribution was he has added a third character. So when he has written drama, he had 3 characters plus there is a chorus. He made the plot somewhat complex, and he had added more features to the characters to make them more subtle, to more presentable, and look like human beings. It is said that he has written around 120 plays, but still in his case also we have only 7 plays survived. The most important play that we had from him still surviving is Oedipus the King or Oedipus Rex. You remember that it is from where you have the story of the King Oedipus, and later we have a term Oedipal complex from Freud. All these refer to Sophocles. This name of Sophocles could be familiar to you in another way also. You remember the poem written by Matthew Arnold, the poem Dogger Beach? There, Arnold says about Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean shore. Maybe you forgot. Okay, you can refer this. Now let's go to the third person, that is Euripides. This is the third most important Greek tragedian who had great contribution in the development of drama and writing so many plays. He was supposed to be the youngest of the three. Who are the three? Sophocles, then Aeschylus, we have Euripides. Euripides had 19 plays from his collection still surviving, and he got his first prize in the competition in 454 BC. So you understand, it's almost the same time. All these three lived in the 5th century BC. He had added some unconventional ways of looking at the Greek myth. Remember, all the stories told by these tragedians are somehow related to Greek myth. The stories of gods and goddesses, the fight between them, etc., etc., their intervention in the human being, in the human life, etc. And he had added some more flavors to telling the story of Greek myth. And we have one more character, but his importance is not related to tragedy, his importance is related to comedy. The three characters we referred already, Euripides, Aeschylus, Sophocles, were tragedians, whereas during the same time we have comedians as well. The only comedian still we remember, still we have something to survive, is Aristophanes. It is almost the same time Greeks engaged in competitions for comedians also, comedy writers also. In 486 BC, they started a separate competition for comedies that was a part of another celebration. The name of the celebration was Lenaea, L-A-N-A-E-A. It was a 3-day festival. It is not as big as the City Dinosaur. City Dinosaur was a 4-day festival, and they had certain rules and regulations for that. Lenaea also was a competition, but a celebration, but it was not as big as that. In connection with this Lenaea celebration, they had arranged a prize, a competition for the comedians, and the first prize went to Aristophanes, and he had won the prize many times. His first occasion was 425 BC. Now you see, some around 3 decades passed. He has written all 40 plays, and 11 are still available. Most of his stories are satirizing the current society, the behavior and the lifestyle of people in some unexpected context. One of the major plays that still people enjoy is The Frogs. You can see in the slide. You can see the photo of the image also of Aristophanes. The Frogs was a drama satirizing some follies and foibles of the people of his time. This video is going to conclude, but before that, let me add one more point. The syllabus of this paper, Theatre for Communication, doesn't mention anything about India or the contribution of ancient classical masters from India. But I thought it would be important for you to know about that. So I put just one slide. Look at the slide, you see the image of Bharadmuni and the image of his Natashastra. This Natashastra is familiar to you. You remember the Nataraja Vigraham? It comes from there. Ancient India gave much importance for performing arts. We have dance forms, we have theatrical performances. And Natashastra is an authentic book written on Natya. Natya means Abhinaya, act to act. It is a book that talk about acting. So there were many people who studied seriously about what happens in a drama when someone is acting. Who is he? Is he the actor or is he the actual man? How audience is able to understand that? How audience is enjoying a tragic scene on the scene? Why it is advisable? Who could be a tragic hero? Such types of big issues were discussed by different people. When classical masters like Aristotle discuss about the structure of tragedy, the plot, what could be a good plot, who could be a good tragic hero, such type of questions, Indian philosophers or Indian thinkers, they thought about how people enjoy this Navarisas, what are the enjoyments, what are the modes, and how these rasas are inculcated in the mind of the audience. What is the role of the audience? What is the role of the actor? Such type of key issues were discussed by them. Now remember that India also had contributed for the development of theatrical art. It is almost the same time. So simultaneously, when something was happening on the western side of the globe, in the eastern side of the globe also a similar study, similar development, similar performances were there. I believe you understood. This gave you a simple idea about the growth of the theatre, the development of art form as drama, and some 3 or 4 major contributors in the development of drama. The next video we will discuss about some more details about the Greek drama. For the time being, thank you very much. So go through the video.